December 15th. We are about to get it going. A little bit late, but that's okay. Going on today. Welcome back. It's December 15th. The market is doing just what we said it would. Let's get into it. It's December 15th, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Coming at you a bit late today. Still trying to figure out what time I even want to go live in the mornings. Don't really know what time will work best yet, but today it's 9 a.m. It's 9:18. It's 9:18. So, what is on the docket today? Bitcoin, $41,918. Let's get into it. Let's get into it and see what is going on. I took the short from $43,233. Closed on the 38.2% fib level. Approximately $41,800. Fib's a little bit higher at $41,861. And then again, the fib up here was the second short. I think I actually shorted 42,860. Was just under that. And then took that to the 38.2 fib again. So twos. All right, we caught both these shorts here. And we told you the short was coming. I was looking at the daily saying I felt like we have established a range on the daily chart. And here we are. We didn't quite make it up there, but pretty close. Pretty close. And here we are at the 38.2% fib. So what we can do now is drag out another fib. I like to do this and see what it gives us. So this one's higher. And we like to know. Okay, so 41,861 is the 38.2. And the 38.2 on the positive fib, the one going in the upward direction, would be the positive fib. the 38.2% fib level is going to be 42,146. So between 41,861 and 42,146 could be this little golden pocket, or what I would deem my golden pocket, to decide whether or not this was going to continue as a higher low here and keep going to the upside and reach the top of this range, or is this going to get sub 41,800 and come back down to test the lower levels around 40K. And that's what I'd like to see, is a tap on 40K. So we got the daily candle coming in here, and we knew we had these wicks at the bottom. We talk about looking for the solid candle bodies to drop your entries on, and they work out. They've worked out for us on the shorter time frames. Now we want to land a big one on the daily chart would be nice, because what we want to be in is a decent position for the next leg up, which we know is coming. They didn't change anything in rates, so there's no reason for this thing to calm down. But we know we maxed out the weekly RSI, we know we maxed out the daily RSI and everything underneath. So we had to come down some. We talked about the 4-hour RSI being the first sign of the rollover, which it was. It always will be. This looked like a distribution pattern. Sure enough, it was. We got the retest at the 70, retest at the 60, crash, another test on the 60, and here we are dumping underneath 45% right now. So this thing has a chance to kind of hover in this area, and that would be between the positive and the negative 38.2% fib levels of these two directions. So that makes sense, and it's just trying to chill out. But like I said, I want to see the daily RSI do what everything else has done. So here's our distribution pattern. We're starting to see this roll over. We're seeing the lower highs come in on the candles as well as the RSI here. So we've rolled over. We got the same look of the retest here from the 4-hour, and now we're crashing below the 60. And what happened after that on the 4-hour? So if we look what happened when it first dropped past the 60, it plummeted to the abyss of 30, under 30, so 25% there, down to 25% RSI. So let's look at that on the daily chart, because when you go long, they go short, and when you go short, they go long, and we want to be riding with those whales. We want to swim alongside the whales. So we need to know which direction they're going to go. And they don't care what everyone thinks on the shorter time frames. They want you to zoom, or they don't want you to zoom out. They want you to be very, very focused on what's just right in front of you, even though they plan for months and years and decades at a time. It's funny watching these people now coming into election year, listening to the politicians fucking bullshit each other and say it's this guy's fault. He ruined the whole system in the last 4 years or the last 8 years. It's like, man, give me a break. That ain't possible. It ain't possible. The system has been slowly damaging itself since Nixon removed the gold standard in 1971 or whatever the fuck it was. Pretty sure it was 71. But anyway, what's going on here? All week we've been telling you that I don't like leaving these big wicks to the bottom. So hopefully we just established a range. We drew out this range in one of the lives this week. Sure enough, we are in this range. Yeah. So even if it's just testing this line again, let's look at that. Just drag that one further, since we've already had 2 wicks on it. If we put that at this apex, we're looking at $41,200, right? Or the 23.6% fib, which lines up to stay above this breakout. Now, that gives us room above where I'd like to be. But still at risk of falling further than we'd like to see if we lose this green line of support here, which kind of is now hopefully creating our new trend coming into the end of the year here. But we will see. We'll see this week coming into this weekend. I do believe it's going to be a good weekend for altcoins and things. Like I said, with the no change in rates, there's no reason for this thing to stop or slow down. There's no reason for them to dump it on you, and I don't really think there's too many people for them to sell it to, even if they wanted to. I think they would have tried that already. Let's go over to the SPX. What's going on over there? I think they are pretty close to their all-time high again. Yeah, real damn close. So let's actually just look at the annual candles. 1 year candles, SPX. Look at this. Would you look at that? Look at that. Crazy. This is crazy. So, 13 years of stock exchange. That was my comparison to Bitcoin that time. So, this... I don't even know what to say about this. This is wild. Like, these last 3 years in the stock market are pretty wild. This is pretty wild. Big changes are coming. Big changes are brewing. And they're talking about cyber attacks, and I feel like they want you afraid of the internet. They want you afraid to hold value in the internet and digital space. And I'll fucking this is something that proves to me that this is fucking true. I couldn't even believe this. I had a comment removed off of Instagram this morning that was, in my mind, there's nothing wrong with it. But where's my freedom of expression? Okay, let's show you this picture. Does this come up nicely? Yeah, look at this comment. Okay, so this was something regarding seeing people come together, and I don't have nothing against protests. I think it's great that people can come together. Hopefully you're not getting bleed from that. I keep forgetting about that. It must be. Bleedy from the microphone. Yeah, so my comment. It's great seeing people come together for a common cause, but the real fight is financial. If you want revolution, it is digital. The rest of the sentence goes on to say, and you need to learn to remove money from their system and put it into decentralized holdings. Why can't I say that? Why can't I say that here? How does that go against your community guidelines on spam? What? Express themselves in a way that's respectful to everyone. Okay? So how is me suggesting that there's a better way to... How is me suggesting that there's a better way to fight against the oppressors, if you want to call them that, right? Like, where's my freedom of expression? That apparently is not a thing, because that comment being removed is just wild to me. It's not. There was nothing negative in it. It only suggested that people should hold their value for themselves, and it was removed. So I can't say shit like that in Canada anymore. It's not abusive. It's not offensive, but it's offensive to the algorithm of Instagram because it has some sort of flag word in it that they didn't like. And that's crazy to me. That's crazy to me. That comment, it's really nothing. It's really nothing. It's great seeing people come together for a common cause, but the real fight is financial. And if you want a revolution, it is digital, and you need to learn to remove value from their system and hold it for yourself in decentralized holdings. Something like that. That's the end of that sentence. And they flagged it. It goes against their community guidelines, as does a lot of this stuff. And right now they want you afraid of the internet. They want you afraid of cyber attacks. And all these things shutting down. Meanwhile, they are stacking big bags of Bitcoin. big bags of Bitcoin, right? And if they, like, I don't know, if this thing dumps out, you know, maybe gold keeps running, like gold's taking new highs. Bitcoin is doing really well. A lot of other markets are doing well. Oil is looking like it's going to bottom out and will be another good long trade, just as it was through 2019 to 2021. It's bottomed out. Now, actually, if we look at oil, I can show you, that's the annual candles, but if we go to the weekly, you can see this yellow line. I drew this in 2020 when Marty and I first started YFH. We were up here. I drew this line saying it would come down to here before it went long again. So here you can see we are putting in the bullish divergence right here. Look at this that was a long. This is a long on oil, and this long is going to last a couple of years. You wait. Oil ain't fucking done. Oil ain't going anywhere. You know how big the logging industry is? Do you know how much fucking power it would take to run logging trucks on fucking batteries? Y'all are out your fucking mind. Like, props to Elon for his innovations in the transportation industry and stuff like that, but give me a break. This thing's fucking... I could be wrong. I'm wrong all the time. It could need another wick down into the 30% region, but I do think that the next few euros for oil are going to be pretty darn good. Let's look at gold. $2,033 again. So we're taking new highs. We got the cup and handle. We have a retest. Now we need to confirm this as a breakout. So that's on the weekly chart. That's on the monthly chart. That's on the annual chart. It's even on the 5-year chart. Right? Here's that cup and handle. Boom. Breakout. Retest. And it's moving. It's moving. 14 days left of this year for this thing to stay up. And then it's up and to the right. And the reason being is because the dollar is failing. And anybody who's been in and trying to beat inflation and keep up with inflation, they know it. They know it. The proof is right here in the charts. Stop being cognitive. Stop being afraid. You got to fucking put your money and your values somewhere else, man. Yelling and screaming in the streets isn't the answer. And they proved it to me by removing my fucking comment off of Instagram today. That's wild. I can't even believe that. Shit pisses me off. Even seeing this new guy in the blue there, Paul Villar or whatever his name is. I hate paying attention to politics because it's just a fucking puppet show circus, in my opinion. To think that Justin Trudeau ruined Canada in 8 years is wild, right? In the fucking late 80s, people in Vancouver were getting bought out by companies and all this other things in real estate business. Like, it's been happening for decades and decades and decades, right? Except for the difference in the late 80s is that people were putting in a bid for a house in the mid Vancouver, West Vancouver, for $100 and a half. And they were getting beat out by $15,000, $20,000 at the time. So we're talking less than $250,000, right? These houses now are worth 10 to 20 times that value, right? And nothing has changed otherwise, right? It's a fucking scam, especially in Canada, right? If we don't start producing things, if we don't start refining our things and start to be a productive country with inside our own borders, we're fucked. We take way too many people to the amount of houses that we build to rely on housing as our economy. We're fucked. Like the US dollar against Canada right now, it's horrible. Horrible. 1.33 US dollar to Canadian dollar. 33% difference. That's gross. We suck. We suck right now. And it doesn't matter if this guy gets back in. I hate seeing he's kind of pompous, this new guy. It's like, yeah, we need some change. And we see the blue party come in for a while. Whoop-de-doo, that's great. But it's not all the liberals' fault that finance is fucked. It's the Fed's fault. It's the fucking company of the USA's fault. The money's fucked. And we're fucked. We're just the USA's shy little brother. Oh, sorry. What are you talking about? I don't fucking know shit. Well, we just DCA into Bitcoin. DCA and look away. Oh, look at this. Invalid symbol. BTC BUSD is gone. That was my fib chart. I was talking about that not earlier this week. I said this may no longer be an accurate measure for me to look at. Boom. It's gone. Too bad. Too bad. So sad. And here's 13 years of Bitcoin. 13 years of Bitcoin. 13 years of Bitcoin. Is it going to keep going? Look at that. It even has a little fake out outside of the ascending channel we've been in for like 10 years. So we get a little dip out of there. Do we get a little dip out of there and maybe start going a little sideways on Bitcoin? But still feeling pretty good. Still feeling pretty good about it. Stephanie Longstaff in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Robin Williams said, "We are the nice people in the apartment above a crack house." Yeah, pretty much. And it's starting to stink. You can smell it. You can smell it coming through the carpet. No. Look at these annual candles. So it looks, this is a lot different than the SPX, in my opinion. It looks a little different. The structure's different. I honestly feel like, the SPX still is. It's going to keep going. It's the SP 500. People are always going to invest in that. But I feel like the next 5 years is going to gold, oil, silver, and Bitcoin, and Ethereum. You know what I mean? Lots of people are going to gamble and speculate in a whole lot of things, but that's where I feel the money is going to be going for the majority of the next few years, and especially if people are really starting to feel like the U.S. dollar's done and the jig is up with the Fed and their whole money printing and inflation thing, then gold, oil, silver, and Bitcoin are your most secure places for value, in my opinion. In my not so humble opinion, in my uneducated opinion. I'm just a fucking blue collar Joe, I spent 20 years in the trades, 16. Well, I guess it's over fucking 20 years now, but I've been kind of just chilling for a while. But I started in construction really young. I spent about 14 to 16 years or something like that on the tools, and then and went into sales. Spent the last 6 to 8 years in technical sales for a manufacturer, and being a blue collar Joe, I feel like I just have the ability to see a problem, evaluate, and come up with a solution. And for me, unfortunately, it was a back injury problem, right? Had to come up with different ways to expense my energy, for one, to keep me somewhat mentally healthy, because a back injury is it's a challenge, and I'm grateful that I can still do all the things that I can do. But it was still a mental challenge and a feeling of inadequacy that I had to get past. And part of that was just being a provider and having to come up with new ways and ideas to source income that weren't as strenuous. And one of those was just studying finance, watching the charts, who's putting money where, what's going on in the news, when the money's going there, and why, right? And through this solitude and reflection and just lots of observation, I've wised up, and I found a solution, and it's fucking working, like better than working did. Yeah, the solution that I found for finances is working better than working did. I like that. Feels good. Yeah, Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the answer. But dollar cost averaging is the answer. Doesn't matter if it's Bitcoin, doesn't matter if it's Netflix, doesn't matter if it's oil, doesn't matter if it's gold, doesn't matter if it's whatever. As long as you're keeping up with inflation, that's the game. That's the whole game. That's what they don't teach you in school. It's actually super fucking simple. Really fucking simple. As much as you can afford, as often as you can afford it. Right? And then when you need it, you should never ever really be in the red. Right? When you come in, you will probably come into a hype spot. Bitcoin right now over 40K, you're probably hearing more about it than you were at 15. You were probably scared to buy it at 15K if you heard about it at 15. Thinking, oh, I could go back to 3K, no problem. But that fear and staying out and not dollar cost averaging, you could have rode 69K. You could have bought the day that it hit 69K and dollar cost average all the way to the bottom and all the way to now. And you'd still be in very healthy profits. You only lose when you don't play. If that makes sense. Even though this is taken away from their game. Taken away from their game. But we like to see it. We like to see it. We told you that this thing, well, I told you that this thing probably wouldn't make it up here yesterday. It didn't look like it could or had anywhere to go. I also said that judging the 4-hour rollover that we had, we would likely see the same thing in the daily chart. And so far, it is playing out to a T. So far. It doesn't have to go all the way back down to the green, but that's where I would like to see. I would love to catch the bottom of a red candle. I don't like to buy green candles. That's another thing, too. Don't buy green candles. To get that out of your head. Buy red candles. The money's made when it's green. So you want to buy when it's red and on sale. Right? You want to demand your product when it's cheap and supply the market when it's high. Demand your product and supply the market with it. That's the way it's got to be. That's the way everything fucking works. We don't get the luxury of printing money. They'll send us to jail for it. Counterfeiting is criminal inflation, and inflation is legal counterfeiting. Right? We don't get that luxury. So we got to be out here taking money from the new investors. And that's fine, because they'll take it from the new ones too. And that's the way we're going to go until Bitcoin is sturdy enough to keep us all afloat. And it will be. Even with 1 million left, it's still enough to keep us all afloat. One Bitcoin will always be worth one motherfucking Bitcoin. That's just the way it is. That's just the way it is. I wanted to cover some gaming tokens, but maybe I'll just do an episode about that, because I guess I could start searching now, but it doesn't. We're 28 minutes in. It doesn't really make sense. I'll probably just do another video. CoinMarketCap, 2 million plus cryptos, 683 exchanges, $1.59 trillion. So billions and billions and billions of dollars have already been pumped in there since we checked that last. Earlier this week. Money is pouring in. Fear and greed at 77. The fear and greed is just hovering up here. It hasn't moved, and I think that's great. That's crazy. But I do hope we are going to come back down, like I said, and bounce off 40K, $40,400, something like that. But the idea of a bear trap is not too far-fetched either. Look at AVAX, 7 days, 43%. And there's tons of things moving. The one mistake that I made was over speculating at basically this time in 2021, when everyone said all the alts are gonna just shred right now. You know what I mean? Go grab a bunch of stuff. And I went and grabbed a bunch of stuff, and the market totally crashed. And I got really hurt in some alt bags, and especially some smaller cap alts. So I've been taking much safer plays this time around. And let's just have a look. So Polkadot was one of them, and it's actually only up 7% for the week, but it has done in the last 30 days probably closer to 35% in the last 30 days. So that was a good pick, and it's a solid project. It stakes well on Wealthsimple, and I have a feeling it can keep going. It will keep going. I know it will. So it topped out at like $50 in the last bull run, and I scooped it up for $6. So I scooped it up for, wow, I think it was actually $5, and it was like between $5.40 and $5.60, something like that. We're at $7.11 already from that scoop, so that looks good. And then Aave, where's Aave on? How far down is Aave on this list? So we grabbed Aave. We actually did a 20% pump yesterday, but it's fluctuating quite a bit. But we're 14% for the week. 14% for the week, so that's probably what I'm up, because I don't think I've had it too much longer than a week. So that looks good. Sand was the other one that I picked up. So Sand is the first gaming token that I got into. I do want to cover gaming tokens today, so let's get into AXS, because this one absolutely fucking crushed the last bull run. It was one of the biggest gainers of the front of the run. It was the front runner, actually. In the beginning, this thing was crazy. This is fastest internet I can get. Maybe I got too many things running. That's all right. Actually, still in the same spot. Maybe you can close that window then. Too many things running here, I think. Too many things running, too many screens going. Oh, look at this beauty. 7 day. Oh, yeah. This thing's juicy. Look at it. See? Oh, 1 month is up already. See? It would have been nice to catch that down there. AXS, what was the low back there? $5.42. Yeah, so that's the same as DOT right now. But AXS absolutely crushed. And so if we look at this on the annual chart, it's just flipping to a positive again. This thing is probably going to fucking just start mooning again. Not going to lie to you. Look at that. Look at what AXS did in the last run. And dead flat right now. Oh, sorry. I'm excited. I'm actually going to grab some AXS. This is not financial advice. This is not financial advice. Right? Go see the financial advisor. He drives a 2003 Toyota Camry, and you can find him at your local bank. But yeah, that looks good. This is what I want. I want this dead flat. This is fucking juicy, actually. Probably grab some AXS, because I think some gaming tokens are going to start floating here pretty quick. So AXS, let's get into that. And they're 38,000% all time gains for that thing. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Maybe I shouldn't talk like that. Okay, Mana. Here's another one. Again, still red. This is what I want to see. Decentraland, Mana. Here's another gaming token. And these are top 100 tokens now, right? These are good ones. We're not even going down into the real degen plays, down to the bottom, the dirty old scoops, right? And that's where I want to play too. And I mean, that's where I got fucked. But look at this. Ooh, Decentraland, Mana. 49 cents. What do we top out at? $5. That's a fucking 10x. An easy 10x. Decentraland's not going anywhere. Sand's not going anywhere. AXS ain't going anywhere. These things are going to shred. It's time to scoop. It's time to scoop some of these. This is not financial advice. I'm a degen. Don't listen to me. I am a fucking dirty, dirty degen. I try not to be. I've actually been really solid this year. My DCA into Bitcoin and then a few alts, but I was really vigilant. I told myself I was not going to move any Bitcoin profit and gamble on anything smaller until Bitcoin had done a real serious move. and I managed to do that, and people are like, oh, buy this, buy that, buy this, buy that. I don't care. I'm solid. I DCA'd to Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the most valuable thing on the planet and will continue to be so as it slowly erodes the rest of this monetary policy. You wait, you watch. Even if if the government created it, they didn't want you to know what they did because we don't trust them, right? So they had to change the system, right? And guess what? Guess what war does? It changes post-war society, right? What if we blow up the US dollar right now? What if this cyber attack shuts down the central banking system, right? Conspiracy in quotations. In quotations. What else do we got? What else do we got on the list? Kava actually did really well. Probably another good one. So that's what I'm looking for. I don't want to see stuff that's green. I don't want to see something that's done 60% this week. Actually, I do. I shouldn't say that either, because somebody's doing really well, and this thing could keep going. Like Bonk is just going nuts. I missed the boat on Bonk, and it's just cruising. And now I'm afraid it's gonna rip my arm off if I try to grab on now. What is this thing though? Woo Network. This thing is on a tear. Just started moving. Look at this. Okay, so dead flat. Now it's just started moving. That's sick. This little move right here is 60% this week. Think about this. Right? So when we're looking at those other ones that are still red and still down here, they have like it's going to take nothing to get 60% out of that. Like I said, anything that looks like this is a fucking easy 10x. Not financial advice. Go see the guy at the bank. It's good. That is good. What else? Pancake? Maybe. No. Pepe, still in the shitter. I actually have some Pepe. I took a little gamble on Pepe. Bought $100 worth of Pepe. That was it. Gonna let it ride through the run and see what happens. Bonk, though. Let's look at Bonk, because it is absolutely crushing, and I feel like it is just gonna keep going because it's got that silly community traction that people love. And I love to see that. This to me is like, you know, these things shredding like this is just like a protest to me. Everyone's rallying together. Look at this thing, 74% in a day. 75% overnight for Bonk. 26,600% overall. Look at this. Dang, it was dead flat. Worth absolutely nothing. And it's just shredding. Oh my God. 24-hour volume is up 400%. Ugh, that's wild, man. So where do you grab onto this? Like that's the difficult thing. So where can we pick it up for one? We can't do Binance anymore. We do have KuCoin. So let's go to KuCoin and check out Bonk. So KuCoin is a good exchange to have if you're around here and you're listening. KuCoin would be a good exchange because KuCoin is going to give you access to some of the smaller tokens. They do have a large listing that you're not going to get on Wealthsimple or Coinbase or anything like that. So Coinbase is a good exchange if you want some access to some of these smaller degen coins without having to do swaps and things like that. This is crazy, man. Does it say the percentages up for the week? KuCoin? I haven't looked at the KuCoin chart in some time. But look at that weekly, man. That's just wild. Like this thing, and these are wicks, like the wicks to the top. Like they're gonna fill. This thing's gonna keep going. So maybe just time to get in. But my fear is that it comes back down to this level, which is a massive drop from where we are. Right. So if this is speculation here, and the rest of the markets top out for the year or into January, then this is the kind of thing that I've done in the past where I end up holding a bag of fucking rocks. And I'm just not going to do that again. So if I miss bonk or if I grab it, I don't know yet. But I don't care. Everything else is doing well. We want solid investments. Just focused on percentage gains. And when I'm comfortable with the amount of money that I've made everywhere else, then I take degen plays. Even though Pepe was a pretty degen play, and it's down right now. But after coming down this week, might be just under on Pepe. I think it got above 0 for a bit there. 26,000%. It hasn't even, like, when did it launch? I guess it's been around for that long. February. That's funny, man. Jeez. 1,000% in the last month for Pepe. 1,000% in the last month. And it, like, I mean, look at that. That looks like it keep going. That's crazy. Just crazy. Crazy. Let's go back over to Bitcoin. Here we go. 41,861 was the fib. 41,852 is the price. 38.2% could be a positive bounce. We close under. Get our solid candle close. Somewhere down here would be real nice. Would be real nice. But I don't know what a drop, like, there's a lot of room there between where we are now and getting down to 30 or 25% on the daily RSI. So I'm curious if it's going to be a big bloody John Wick that we see. Could be. Never know. Never know. We are coming into the end of the year. It's Friday today, right? It's Friday, end of the week. So we'll watch it. We will bring you a daily close today. DCA and look away. Catch you later. Pigs out.